March 2002. Residents of the University Hill neighborhood discover plans to build a parking lot on the site of Redbud Woods. Unbeknownst to them, university planners had selected the site the year before in order to make up a portion of the student parking that would be lost in the redevelopment of Cornell's West Campus as part of the West Campus Residential Initiative. Carolyn Peterson, then alderwoman, contacted representatives of the university at the urging of neighborhood residents and homeowners. What they learned did not please them. In an open letter to Cornell President Hunter R. Rawlings III and the university's Board of Trustees, they wrote, "We were dismayed to discover that plans were far from tentative. Construction was targeted for completion by the end of 2002. Many trees were already marked with pink ribbons. All of this has occurred without consulting or even informing any of the neighbors." The letter was endorsed by over 100 neighborhood residents, including students. All of us are profoundly opposed to the university's plan to demolish Redbud Woods. The emergence of neighborhood opposition presented an unexpected setback to President Rawlings, who just a month prior had announced his intention to step down from the presidency.
At a certain point, you go back to your roots. My roots are professorial in nature.
Rawlings had been well liked by the Board of Trustees.
Hunter's vision led to many important projects to influence this university forever. Has been an effective fundraiser,
but faced greater scrutiny from students and faculty.
Thank you for all of your kind words and for the close personal relationship which we've enjoyed.
Among his most prominent and controversial projects was the $100 million North Campus Residential Initiative, which, boldly defying committee recommendations, relocated all freshman housing to North Campus.
Chairman Tanner alluded to the success of the North Campus initiative. We're now turning our attention to the West Campus.
Rawlings would oversee the start of the massive $200 million West Campus Residential Initiative.
And that's a very big project,
which sought to tear down upperclassmen dormitories on West Campus and replace them with tax-exempt educational living centers.
5 new residential colleges.
The new dorms would hold the same number of students, but require twice as much land area as the dorms they would replace. The extra land would be provided through the elimination of on-site student parking, almost 200 spaces in all. It was this loss of parking that led to the selection of Redbud Woods as the site for a new 200-car capacity surface-level parking lot. In their letter, residents outlined several alternative locations and strategies to address Cornell's student parking needs. But President Rawlings and the Cornell Central Administration were determined to see their plans through, and were unwilling to compromise on any basic assumptions, certainly not the demolition of Redbud Woods.
Hunter advised me that he wanted to retire as president on June 30, 2003, which is 15 months from now.
The next 15 months we're going to pursue as vigorously as we have the last 7 years. I look forward to, in fact, accomplishing quite a number of things.
It is Hunter's intention to stay in Ithaca, to teach in the classics department, and to work with a successor president on any assignment or special project that might be designated by a new president.
In plans submitted to the Ithaca City Planning and Development Board, design firm Trowbridge & Wolfe proposed the construction of a 2-tiered, 176-space parking lot, reduced by 19 spaces in order to placate the neighborhood and preserve the historic Treeman family carriage path, winding through the southern edge of the woods. In closing, let us state that we would have preferred to work this out less publicly, but Cornell has proceeded so far without consulting us and has given us little indication that it is willing to revisit its plans to create a parking lot in Redbud Woods. Therefore, we felt it necessary to inform the Ithaca community immediately. February 25th, 2003. The Ithaca City Planning and Development Board, after hearing extensive public comment and expert testimony, concludes its hearings and approves 97% of Cornell's West Campus initiative, but rejects plans for the proposed University Avenue parking lot. The result reflects tireless effort from students and community members rallying under the banner of the Redbud Woods Working Group. It might have ended there, but instead Rawlings and the central administration began a grueling 2-year legal battle with the city of Ithaca to reverse the planning board's decision, as well as a subsequent ruling by Ithaca's Landmarks Preservation Commission.
Mr. Chairman, it is my great honor and distinct privilege, on behalf of the Cornell Board of Trustees, to welcome you to this historic...
There were high hopes for the university's newly appointed president,
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Sean Lehman.
the first alumnus to hold the post. But when Rawlings stepped down and Lehman took charge on July 1st, 2003, legal proceedings were already well on their way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The sound of the afternoon chimes undulating down the valley's side seems to tell us that they have rung out the old and that they have rung in the new.
High hopes meant big letdowns. Lehman looked forward, but he was unwilling to go back on his predecessor's controversial decisions. When the Landmarks Commission declined to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the parking lot project, Lehman dutifully sued to have them overruled. Having carefully reviewed the recent decision of the ILPC, we have reluctantly concluded that Cornell has no choice but to contest the decision regarding the proposed West Campus parking lot. Cornell deeply values its relationships with our surrounding community. Because of those relationships, we engage in litigation only when no other option appears feasible, and when an issue of significant importance to the university is involved. Carolyn Peterson, Ithaca's newly elected mayor, fought the move, but in the end, Cornell won the legal right to pave Redbud Woods.
Hello, I'm Teresa Alt. This is Ithaca DSA Presents. As part of its West Campus initiative, Cornell decided that this was the place to put a parking lot. Suppose Cornell does really badly need parking. Are there places other than this historic woods to put it?
Right. Well, I mean, you know, this is the lawn of the Robert Treatman and his brother and sister's estate. Robert Treatman, of course, was a conservationist generations ahead of his time, and to put up 2 football-length expanse of surface-level parking on this woods is just totally trashing Robert Treatman's memory. The logical place is on the West Campus block itself, which is on the east side of Stewart Avenue, where the dorms are, where the new living learning units are. And the alternatives include putting parking underneath those residences. There are still more to be built in the upcoming years. Parking could be accommodated under those buildings, or alternately, Noyes Center is going to be demolished. Noyes Center has a basement level. It could be decked over, planted with grass on top, and through an entrance off Stewart Avenue, it could be an underground parking area. Another alternative would be to take some of the existing peripheral lots that Cornell maintains at various places on campus.
A lot, B lot?
A lot, B lot, for example, and put even just one deck on those and turn them into a parking structure rather than a parking lot.
Despite some pretty clear community opposition, Cornell took the community to court, pressed ahead, and insisted that they would build the lot. Students responded by protests first on campus, protests when President Lehman spoke on campus.
Jeff Lehman practiced law in Washington, D.C. He became Dean of the University of Michigan Law School in 1994.
Thank you, Dean Henry. It is wonderful to be part of the final academic event of the centennial year. That's upside down. And the challenge of sustainability challenge, sustainability issues. Alternative energy sustainability. Dean Henry will come up. You can have some questions in there.
Outdoors people parking lot.
I get a question. Yeah. So let me talk about what I see as the sustainability issue behind parking lots. What to me is the sustainability issue behind parking lots is the fossil fuels question. Because parking lots are there for cars, and cars burn fossil fuels, and the question is, how is it that we as an institution can be committed to thinking about sustainability issues when we continue to have parking lots? And of course,
Let him answer!
excuse me just a second. The question is, how can we continue to have parking lots, to create parking lots in a green space if we are concerned about sustainability? And the answer is that this project involved the creation of a new set of academic residential houses on West Campus. And to do that, the planning team decided that the best way would be to move an existing parking lot of 195 spaces somewhere else.
Unsustainable.
And that's the question.
For some of the students, I think the key is Cornell disregarding the public will. And for others, it's more the historic preservation question, and for others, the environmental question.
And clearly, paving green space for a service level parking lot is the direct antithesis of sustainability. May I add, Teresa, that all of those actions were after years of trying to go through the proper governmental channels of going to City Hall meetings at planning boards and Landmarks Preservation Commission. And at one meeting, I think there were up to 80 community members and students attending. So there was a long attempt to try every avenue available through the normal processes. And when that didn't work, the students, having been crushed basically by Cornell refusing to listen to the community, took to the actions that you were saying.
Vice President Murphy agreed to another meeting with working group representatives. But as the spring semester approached its end, many student activists were tired and frustrated from their long battle with the administration. May 27, 2005, 2 days before commencement. The working group holds a press conference in front of Day Hall. Danny Pearlstein announces passage of a third Student Assembly resolution asking the administration to preserve Redbud Woods and to grant amnesty to student protesters. Also announced is the administration's decision to bar Danny and fellow Redbud 8 Daisy Torres from graduation that Sunday, pending legal and disciplinary proceedings scheduled for the fall.
The 5 virtues of a Jedi Master. First, a love for complexity. When it seems as though you've got it all figured out, ask yourself whether Pierce in veracity might have led you astray, and whether you might be missing something important. Second, a patient spirit. When the stakes seem highest, it is natural to believe that only swift and decisive action will do. When you feel that impulse, wait. Take a walk around the block. Review in your mind the foreseeable consequences of your decision, the outcome you hope for, and the collateral damage that might be avoidable. Remember how much you do not know. Third, a will to communicate. Fourth, a sense of humor. Finally, an optimistic heart. We recognize that the dark side's greatest allies are fear and despair. To fight them, you must arm yourselves with realistic optimism. Think of it, if you will, as the spirit that underlies Episode 4, A New Hope.
The Red Buddies regrouped, fewer in number, but with more time for their cause and fresh recruits from Cornell, Ithaca, and beyond. With most students gone for the summer, the administration was likely to be quick to seize the opportunity and to make their move. Those who remained planned a publicity campaign and prepared for the occupation and physical defense of the woods.
No, we're out in the woods. Oh. I didn't do anything. What was he asking? About OSHA. So are we going to check that and listen to this?
So right now, basically what's happened is work has completely stopped. They're taking an early lunch break. Right now in Day Hall, we're hearing word that Susan Murphy, the Vice President of Student Services, and Jeff Lehman, the President, and some others are talking about exactly what should be going on. We don't know what the subject of the meeting is, but they're talking. You can see behind me, they've stopped cutting, which is really, really fortunate. There are a lot of people. There are people in trees who are in jeopardy. There are people on the ground who are in jeopardy. So it's really, really good that they've stopped work, and we just hope that they're going to continue to be safe.
Right.
Go ahead.
Can you comment, by the way, on not just people in the woods, my understanding, deer?
What?
It looks like it sounds like.
We've been meeting for 12 weeks now, talking about different topics related to peace, talking about historical figures, heavy discussion, fun games to keep it light. These kids have been great, we've been learning a lot, but we wanted to do a community outreach project. So they all took a vote last week and we talked about different things we could do in the community, and they voted to come up here and visit you guys and find out about Redbud Woods and why you guys are protecting it.
First, Cornell and the city were in a legal suit, and Cornell sued them. Many people in the community have been requesting Cornell to change their minds and proposing alternatives.
I'm born and raised in the Kingston, now in Cornell. I have long taken pride in both of those. These woods on the border of the university of the town do not belong to one or the other of us, but to all of us. And to those especially who love and enjoy them. All of you who are here today to bask in their wonderful shelter and to hear the songs of the birds who live here.
And then throughout the years, people have started to do more direct action. And now Cornell has said we don't care at all, so they tried to come in and just cut down the trees. have platforms in the trees and holes in the ground with things to lock our arms to. And so they couldn't cut down the trees. We were blocking the way.
How long are you guys prepared to wait it out, sit it out?
Till the first frost.
But you have to have a plan. I mean, Cornell could just outwait you. Do you have a plan for what you'll do?
If we hold them off all summer, if that's their plan, when school starts up again, there'll be a lot more people around here to make problems for them.
ourselves, or whether we can save them at all, and whether we can keep going, or whether it's time to throw in the towel. And it's been really, really hard for me, because I can't imagine doing that, and I can't imagine what it would be like to say goodbye to my friends, the trees, and tell them this is the best I can do, and I'm going to leave now and never see you again, and you're going to be cut down.
But the cool thing is that students and faculty and community members are all working together, so it's going to be a lot harder for them to ignore us all.